Hello again and welcome back for part 5 of the Sunburst Mandala throw. We're starting this part of the tutorial with row 36. I'm going to just join the yarn to the hook with a slip knot. On this yarn it's a little bit different again, that we're starting with the 2 stitches before the corner chain here, and we're going to do a back post single into each of those 2 stitches. I'm going to chain 3, and then we're not going to work into the chain here, we're going to work a back post single into the next 2 stitches, as so. We're now going to work back post singles around the doubles that formed the shell. So we're going to skip this single here and go straight across to the first double and work a back post single. We're going to work the same around each of those doubles, so we're going to do 7 back post singles around the shell. We'll then skip the single here between the shell. We're going to work back post singles around the next shell. We'll work that all the way along to the corner and then join into this we'll work the 2 back post singles around the 2 stitches at the end of the row, work 3 chain, and then we go straight into the first 2 doubles of the next side, working the 2 back post singles. So it's just a little bit different that we've got the 3 chain as the corner here rather than working into the chain of that previous row. So when you get to the end and you've worked all of the back post singles around the shells, we've come to this next corner. So we've got the 2 doubles here. We're going to do a back post single around each of those 2 stitches and then 3 chain, and we come on to the next side where we're going to start with the 2 back post singles around those 2 stitches of the corner, and we've got that 3 chain. That's going to sit at the back here because we're going to work into that in a row further along. So we've done the first 2 stitches of this next side. We're going to skip the single, go straight over to the next shell and work the 7 back post singles into those, and then all 4 sides are exactly the same. So if you want to pause the video and work each of the 4 sides, leaving the corner stitch of this row free and doing the 3 chains that's going to sit behind. So I'll meet you when we get to the beginning of the next row. And we're ready to start row 37. So again, I'm going to start with a slip knot onto the hook. We're going to leave the 3 chain space there behind our work, and we're going to work into the space between the 2 doubles from row 36. So into this space we're going to double 2 together. So I'll start with a standing double and the second half of the stitch yarn through all of the stitches together, chain 1, and then we're going to do another 2 double 2 together in that same space. There's the second one, chain 2, that's going to be forming the next corner, and we do another double 2 together, a chain 1 and double 2 together all into that same corner space there. So we've got 4 double 2 togethers, we've got a chain between the first 2 chains between the middle, and then a chain between the last 2 on there. We're now going to go into the skipped single of the row with the shells, and we're going to work a V into that stitch. And the V is the double chain 1 and a double into that first chain. We're going to work 3 singles, and we're going to skip the first 2 stitches here of the back post singles. We're going to work a single in those middle 3 stitches, and then we'll skip the last 2 stitches and work a V into that skipped single of the shell row. Chain 1 and the second half of the V. Again, skip the next 2 and work 3 singles. It's the same thing that we did with the singles on the previous rows, where we're just working a single into the middle 3 stitches, which is going to give us a nice straight edge, and then straight into the next V. Skip 2 stitches and the 3 singles. We're going to work along this row until we come to the last single on the side, and I'll meet you when we get there. So we've come to the end of the row where we've got the 2 back post singles that were into excuse me, the 2 doubles there. We're going to again ignore the 3 chain of the last row. We're going to work into the chain here from the shell row. We're going to do exactly the same as we did with the first corner. We're going to work a double 2 together, chain 1 and a second double 2 together, and then chain 2 to form the corner. We're going to do another double 2 together, chain 1 and double 2 together, and just make sure that the 3 chain of the row where we did the back post singles is still free there. So again, skip the second half of the corner. We're going to come into this single and work a chain, a V stitch. So a double, a chain and a double into that stitch. Skip 2 stitches and work a single into the next 3 stitches. Skip 2 stitches again and a V into that skipped single. Skip 2 stitches and work the 3 singles. I'm just going to carry on all the way along, each side exactly the same. So when you get to the end of each round, you'll work the 4 double crochet 2 together with a chain in between the first 2 chains into the corner and a chain in between this one, and then straight into the V stitch and the 3 singles at the top of each shell. So if you want to pause the video at this point, and I'll meet you when we get to the end of the row. As always, we're just going to join with a slip stitch into the first stitch that we formed, and then you can snip off the yarn, pull it through to fasten off. So I'll meet you for the start of the next row. And we're ready to start row 38. Again, we're going to start before the chain space here of the corner. So I'm going to join with a slip knot onto the hook. we're going to work in the first chain space here of these 4 double crochet together, and again we're going to work a double crochet together into that first space. So there we've got the first double crochet 2 together. We're now going to push the chain that we left from row 35, we're going to bring it to the front of your work. This is the one that we've skipped before. Into that chain space we're going to work a treble. So yarn over twice into that chain space, pick up a loop, and then yarn over the 3 times to complete the treble. We're now going to work into the chain space of row 37, and we're going to work a double 2 together with a chain 1 and then a double 2 together, all into this 2 chain space here from the previous row. There's 1 and a chain 1, and then we do a second double 2 together into, oh, I've got a knot there, another double 2 together into that same chain space. We're now going to do another treble into this chain space here from row 35 where we've just done the one before the corner. So again, just into the chain space itself, yarn over twice into the chain space and pick up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. So we've got a longer V shape here in the corner. We're going to work into the next chain space of the corner, so you'll have to sort of pull the treble to one side because we're going to work another double 2 together in that last chain space there, and chain 1. We're now going to skip the double 2 together. We're going to skip the first half of the V and we're going to work a popcorn into the V stitch, and it's a 4 double crochet popcorn. If you want a bigger popcorn, by all means do 5 doubles, but for my blanket I'm just going to do the 4 double. So into that first stitch, pick up the loop, pull through, pull tight and chain 1 to fasten off, and then we're going to do a double into the 3 singles from the last row. So we've got 1, 2 and 3, and then we go straight into the next V stitch and work a popcorn. So we're going to do this all the way along to the last V on this side, just working a popcorn followed by 3 doubles, and then we're straight into the next popcorn. And then when you reach the very last V stitch of the side, you'll work into the V with a popcorn. We'll skip this double 2 together and we start with the double 2 together, and then we're working the treble into the chain from row 35, and then we've got a double two together, a chain one, a double two together, a second treble into this V-stitch here, sorry, the chain space here, and then we move over to the last chain space of the corner with a double two together, and then straight into the V for the pattern repeat, which is a popcorn followed by the 3 doubles, a popcorn, 3 doubles, and so on. So I'll let you pause the video again at this point, and I'll meet you when we get to the end of the row. Again, we're just going to join with a slip stitch into this first stitch here and fasten off the yarn. So when we've fastened off the yarn to the first stitch that we did for this round, we're going to now go back into the corner stitch and work from the actual corner for the next round. So if you want to slip knot onto the hook and working into the chain space here for round 39, we're going to work 2 doubles, a chain 1 and 2 doubles, all into that corner space there. We're now going to work 3 front post doubles, 1 around the first double two together, going to work a front post double around the treble, I'm going to work a front post double around the next double two together here. We're now going to work a front post double around the first half of the V from row 38, and then we're going to work a front post single around the popcorn, a front post double around the second half of the V, and then we've got 3 doubles here. We're going to work a single into each of those stitches. So I'll run through the start of the pattern repeat again. We do a front post double around this first half of the V from row 30, let me think, what are we on now, 39, on round 38. A front post single around the popcorn, a front post double around the second half of the V-stitch, and then 3 singles, 1 in each of the doubles from the last row. And then back to the front post double around the V, a front post single around the popcorn, a front post double around the V, and then we've got 3 singles, 1 in each of those doubles from the last row. So again, if you want to pause the video and work to the end, and I'll show you what we do when we come back to the corner. As we're coming up to the last part of the side, we do the final front post double around the first half of the V, the front post single around the popcorn, a front post double around the second half of the V, and we've now got 3 front post doubles. Going to work 1 around that double two together there, we'll work 1 around the treble, and then the final front post double is around the last double two together before we come to the corner, where again you will do the 2 doubles, a chain 1 and 2 doubles, and then you start again on the next side with the 3 front post doubles around these 3 stitches, a front post double around the first half of the V, and then carry on with the pattern repeat. As always, when we get to the end, just join with a slip stitch into the first stitch, fasten off the yarn, pull through and pull tight, and we're ready for the next row. Round 40, we're going to join again with a slip knot onto the hook, and into the corner space we're going to work 2 doubles, a chain 1 and 2 doubles. We're now going to work 5 front post doubles, so we've got 1 around each of the 2 corner stitches, and then we've got 1 around each of these next 3 front post doubles. So we've got 5 altogether of the front post doubles. We're now just going to work a half double in every stitch all the way along the side until we come to this last popcorn here with the stitches, and I'll meet you when we get to that point. When we've done the last half double around the second front post double of the one that surrounds the popcorn, we're left with 5 stitches. We've got the 3 front post doubles and the 2 corner stitches. We're going to do like we did at the beginning, a front post double around each of those 5 stitches. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and then the 2 corner stitches from the last row, we do a front post double around each of those 2, and then we're back to the corner where we started, so you can carry on with the next side. 2 doubles into the corner with a chain 1 in between. We've got 5 front post doubles in the next 5 stitches, and then it's just a half double all the way along until you get to the last 5 stitches, and we do a front post double in each of those 5, and then again when you get to the very end we can just join into that first stitch with a slip stitch, fasten off the yarn and pull through, and we're ready for the next row. So I'll let you pause the video until you come to this same point here. Our next row is a nice easy one. Just join with a slip knot to the hook. Into the corner space we're going to work 2 doubles, a chain 1 and another 2 doubles, and then we're just going to back post double around every stitch all the way along to the corner, and then again work 2 doubles, a chain 1 and 2 doubles into the corner stitch, and then straight on to the stitches along the side and just do a back post double around every stitch. And I'll see you when we get to the end of this row. And ready now for row 42. Going to join again with a slip knot onto the hook, and work into the corner chain from the last row. We're going to start with a standing double. Start that again. Work a standing double into the chain space, followed by a second double, chain one and another 2 doubles into that same space. We're going to skip the very first stitch and then we're going to work a cross stitch over the next 2, so we'll skip the next stitch as well. We're actually skipping 2 stitches, work a double into the third stitch, and then we're going to come back and work the second double into the second stitch of the row. So we skip a stitch, work a double, and then we work the second double into the skipped stitch. We're just going to work that all the way along to the end. When you get to the next corner, oops, I've got the thread caught up there. When you get to the next corner, it's the same as this first corner, that we've got the 2 doubles, a chain one and 2 doubles, and then we go straight on to working these crossed doubles, but not forgetting that we actually skip totally the first stitch on the side there. So the first cross is going over the second and the third doubles from the row below. So again, I'll let you pause the video and you can work your cross stitch rows, the cross stitch row all the way around, and I'll meet you when we get to the end of this row. When we get round to the last cross of this row, it will be into the 2 stitches that formed the corner of the last row. So we just join into the top of that first stitch and fasten off, and then we're ready for the next row. We're going to start the next row in the corner space again with 2 doubles. Start that again. 2 doubles, 1 chain and 2 doubles into the corner space there. There's 1 and 2, chain 1 and another 2 doubles into that corner. On this row we're not going to skip the first stitch, so you might want to pull the stitches across a little bit. We're going to work a cross double over these first 2 stitches. So we skip 1, work the double, and then work the second half of the cross into the skipped stitch, and then we're just going to work a cross stitch into each of the crosses from the row below. So we're skipping a stitch, working to the next double, and then back and work the second half of the double into the skipped stitch. So we're just going to work that all the way along the row until you get to the corner. In the corner again we're going to have the 2 doubles, the 2 chains and the 2 doubles. So again, I'll let you pause the video until you've worked around this row. And when we've come all the way around, the very last cross again is in the 2 corner stitches from the previous row. I'm just going to join with a slip knot to fasten off, and this concludes part 5 of the Sunburst Mandala throw. I hope you'll come back and join me for part 6. I'd like to thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.